Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Golf Podcast. Today, we've got a great guest who's somebody who's crossed paths with us many times, and it's great to finally get him on the show. We're going to be speaking with Matt Cardis. You guys may know him as at Golf in Your State on Instagram. And he's got a new project called the Golf Wall Project, which we want to dive into and find out a little bit about, because you've heard me say it here a lot before. And Mike, I know you feel the same way. I think a really big part of this game that we enjoy is how much the game tends to give back, whether it be at a charity golf outing or at the highest level of the PGA Tour, a lot of the charity work that's done. But even at the more grassroots, down to, the nitty gritty levels of, people raising money and doing different things like that. And Matt's a perfect example of what he's doing with this golf wall project. And he's been raising money and giving back and doing a lot of volunteer work. But Mike, Matt is he calls himself a golf nomad, and that couldn't be more true, huh?
Yeah, look at some of these stats. So check it out. He started his little journey in the fall of 2016. He's traveled, get this, over 100,000 miles. He's played and photographed over 300 courses, all while connecting with thousands of passionate golfers across the country. And two of those guys being you and me, because, like you said, our paths have crossed. I know you and Matt met at the PGA show in 2018, 2 years ago. And I know you guys had a great conversation, which led me to meeting up with Matt. What was it? Last October. Yeah. Wow. A year has gone by already. So last October, Matt and his friend Jordan, they did the cruise to Cabot, a trip where they were playing a whole bunch of courses going up the East Coast. They started it at Trump Ferry Point, and I went there. You couldn't make it, but I went. I had a blast with Matt. Matt was in the vlog. Check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. It's a while back, like I said, last October. But that was a fun day, Frank, and it was fun catching up with Matt.
That was really cool. And I want to talk to him about that because I think that's a lot of part where this concept came from. Earlier this year, Matt purchased a van. He's now traveling the country playing golf. He's living out of the van, and it's become its own kind of character in his mission. It's kind of cool. You can see everybody who's interacted with him has autographed the outside of the van. And back then, Mike, when you saw him, he was doing that. It was pre-van. He was doing the RV trip, the cruise to Cabot, as you said. So maybe that was a little bit of an inspiration, but it's really cool. It's kind of turned itself into its own little traveling golf art installation, the van, because you see, all the places he's been and the people who've signed it. It's like a collage of all different things. But what's really cool, like I said, is he's getting out there. He's finding other people who want to also give back, who are, and a big part of this game in general is people who love the game, sharing it, helping each other. We saw an article, on Golficity just a couple of weeks ago. Remember those guys who built out that whole backyard practice facility?
Yeah.
They did it just themselves, like taught themselves, maintenance, and they've invited pretty much anybody who wants to come and practice there. Similar to that, he's got people doing volunteer work, painting a clubhouse, helping courses that, are struggling with a little bit of funding or whatever, where he's helping with the basic repairs, signage, tee markers, things like that. So he's out there, like I said, really putting the work in. And yeah, I got a chance to talk to him a little bit about it. And the other thing too, that's always impressed me, he's also a photographer. And if you guys aren't already following him, make sure you follow at Golf in Your State on Instagram, and you'll see exactly what I mean, because some of his work is just absolutely fire. I just love, checking that stuff out whenever I can.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to receive a couple of those photos that he took that day at Ferry Point. He had his camera out snapping some photos, and I have those for a lifetime. Those are great stills that he took that day. And like you just said, follow him on Instagram, because all the photos are there, and he's great at what he does. To me, Frank, I love golf course art. We went to Patriot Hills. You and I stand on a tee box and just look down for like 10, 15 seconds, just appreciating how beautiful it looks. And Matt, he kind of brings that to life in his photos. Yeah,
and it's something that I've always personally been envious of, these guys. You can take a really great photograph of, because it's so much harder than it looks. We snap some stuff. Well, mainly what we're doing is our videos when we're out there, but there's just a different level. It's like when we were at West Lancs working with Craig Salter, and some of the pictures he took, it's just like, whatever it is that they do. Photography in and of itself is just, it's an art that eludes me. And I'm always impressed when I see how these guys do it. But But just switching gears real quick, because we're going to talk a lot with Matt more in a moment, just to give a quick update on what we've got going on. If you guys aren't already checking out the YouTube channel or all of our videos, you can always get in the Golficity app. Just download the app by going to golficity.com/app. It's free for iOS and Android. A lot of great videos recently been coming out. We did the hole-in-one challenge, which was a ton of fun. And you gain a lot of respect for what it takes to actually put one in when we took 100 chances at it. And I'll let you guys watch the video to see what happened, but that one was fun. And then, the new T-Series irons. I mean, a lot going on right now. Again, getting back with Kevin Sprecher and doing that work. And then hopefully you guys saw our episode a couple of weeks ago with Kevin Sprecher out on the range. Those episodes are we always really get lots of great feedback. And I like it because you guys get to, kind of bring everybody in, bring the audience in on some of the knowledge and gems that we're able to get out of working with people like Kevin and some of these very experienced, long time, golf instructors. Kevin's a top 100 instructor. So whenever he speaks, I'm all ears and my game is better for it. So having him on the podcast once again, I feel like you just create this kind of a wealth of information that's just there to live on. And I can refer back to it whenever. I still refer back, Mike, to a lot of my, the videos that we did, the putting video and the swing, coach stuff. Whenever I need a little bit of a tip, it's just a good reminder.
Dude, I've learned so much from that guy.
Truly. It's been one of the best coaches we've had an option, had the ability to work with, which is why we keep going back to him. And we're going to be doing more. We're going to have some videos. We did another, we got to get back out there and play around with him again at Hudson National. That video will be out really soon. And then we're hopefully over the winter, maybe get back in there too. So
yeah, truly blessed to be able to know him, to be able to go and play with him. It's just a great experience all around, Frank. But he's our guy. Like you said, that's why we keep going back to him. The game's been improving, so we're not shaking it up.
No doubt about it. And the last thing I wanted to mention here, Mike, before we jump into a word from our sponsors is big things coming for Golficity in 2020. We've been talking about this for a long time, Mike, how we continue to work on expanding Golficity as a platform. For anybody who's a new listener, when we first started Golficity years ago, we did it with the goal of creating a platform which would eventually be a host of content, of the types of content that we want to see around the game. And a lot of that is, you see us, we're out here, we're learning it, we're having fun. We're not pros, we're not coaches, we're nothing like that. We're just average guys, love the game and want to play it and learn more about it. And as part of that, we want to keep expanding Golficity. So you guys have seen through the years, we've had some writers who joined the team who have just been excellent. We've got some great voices on Golficity right now. I think Eric Benzenberg is one of the best when it comes to product reviews. He digs in deep and I always enjoy seeing his stuff. It's just going to continue to expand in that way. And the other thing too is, as you've seen, not only with the website and like I said, and other guys like Eddie D'Attusa, Eddie always makes me laugh. I love seeing his stuff. So if you guys aren't already, catching some of this content on Golficity, definitely do so. But the big thing that we've got coming soon is we're going to be adding a couple more podcasts to the platform. So stay tuned for that. And a lot of this stuff too, it's going to be, as far as you and I go, Mike, hands off. We're looking for other people who've got something we think that is interesting to say. They've got an interesting take, and we're looking just to give them that platform and a place for them to say it, and if it's content that we enjoy, we feel like you guys will enjoy it as well. So we've got at least 2 podcasts. We're going to be talking more about it here, explaining more as it comes, but we've got at least 2 that we're going to be bringing on, very different in a lot of ways than what we do here on this podcast. And that's what I want. I want some new stuff. I want some different things. So like I said, you'll see, we're going to continue to be dedicated to expanding Golficity as a platform. So that's why I mentioned the app before. If you guys haven't already downloaded, make sure you download the Golficity app because you're going to be able to see all those podcasts there. Of course, they're going to be everywhere as well, on all the podcast platforms, wherever you get your podcasts. But we'll give you more information as they drop. One is going to be a little bit more on the fitness side, and the other one is going to be talking a little bit more on the PGA Tour news. And if you guys get into daily fantasy, that's going to be your spot. So it's going to be some interesting stuff. Like I said, very different than what we do, but we want that. We want different. We want new. and you guys can check it out and let us know what you think for sure.
Yeah, and we have another big surprise coming up. We're going to keep it a surprise, but we're about to record episode 300 of the Golf Podcast. So we're going to be doing that on a special location. So stay tuned for that. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that Orlando's booked, guys. So if you're in the Orlando area, we're going to start promoting it. We'll be down there for PGA Show Week. Always a busy schedule, but maybe there's some nightlife that lends us to hopefully a meetup maybe. But again, it's early. We'll talk more soon, but we are heading back to the PGA Show in 2020.
For sure. And there'll be a lot of travel in 2020, so look forward to that. All right, let's do a word from our sponsors, and then we're going to bring Matt on the show. Guys, we're excited to share exclusive opportunities from Titleist. You guys see us do that here. We talk about it a lot. But to be part of those opportunities, you have to join Team Titleist. Here you go. You see it right there on my hat. Actually, in fact, a lot of people have asked me where we get these hats with the TT. It's all from being part of Team Titleist. It gives you access to opportunities like prototype testing, special events, limited edition gear, bing, 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 and so much more. So sign up, join us on Team Titleist at Titleist.com/Team Titleist, guys. That's one word. It's Titleist.com/Team Titleist. It's free to join. Just get joined and you're going to get your opportunity to get these things. And speaking of prototype testing, we recently got the new EXP01 balls, those experimental balls. You've heard a lot of chatter about those from Titleist. Those are really cool. We were knocking those around a bit, in our last round. So lots of exciting things coming out of them. Make sure you check it out. Go to Titleist.com/Team Titleist.
Yeah, and I just want to thank ShotScope, guys. The ShotScope V2, here it is, the world's smartest golf watch. We wear them all the time, have them out there every round. 40,000 plus courses, hundreds of stats. This watch truly helps you both on and off the course. We've been talking about these guys all year. We love what they're doing as a company. Just ask yourself, do you think it'll be helpful to know your stats firsthand? I could say yes to that. And for those of you who seem to get nothing from hiring a coach, I've talked about this before. This is something you could definitely use when going to a coach because you'll be able to understand your own golf game by using ShotScope. That's the beauty of it. You'll be able to see where you miss. You'll be able to see greens in regulation, long drives, club usage. There may be a club in your bag like me. I have a hybrid in my bag with a 0% club usage.
Literally 0%.
So you'll see. I'm about to replace that. So thanks to ShotScope for telling me that. Obviously it's obvious, but maybe not so obvious because I didn't know I didn't use that club that much. So guys, check it out. All the data of your golf game at your fingertips. Join the revolution. Get yourself a ShotScope V2. Visit shotscope.com/Golficity or use the code V2Golficity for $30 off. It's $159. It's a great deal.
No brainer.
And lastly, just want to thank FootJoy, the #1 outerwear brand in golf. Guys, FootJoy ensures that you make every day playable with performance golf gear to handle any weather condition. Frank, our round on Wednesday, we may be faced with a little rain, so make sure you be prepared. But I know
fall golf, baby. Remember our last round? At one point in the round, I was wearing 3 layers. Another point, I was wearing just my polo.
Yeah, that's right.
And then another point, I had my rain gear on.
That's what happens. That's this time of year. He's absolutely right. So, guys, all FootJoy products are designed to provide the best golf experience regardless of conditions. And we would know. Like we've said it, we've played 10 rounds in 6 days through Scotland with weather just like you said, Frank, changing every minute. So, we saw it happen. You guys need to check it out. Trust the brand that's been #1 forever. Learn how you can make every day playable at footjoy.com/MEDP.
Dude, a few key layers and you are set for whatever comes your way.
And you know what? Nothing wrong with throwing those rain gear pants in the bag, right?
That's what I'm saying. I learned that really quick our last round. A couple of layers. It's just a key layer is all you need.
Dude. And you know what's been a savior, by the way? The gloves, the double gloves.
The rain gloves, yeah.
The rain gloves. I haven't tried the winter ones yet. I have a pair of them here, but they've been a lifesaver.
Yeah, the winter ones I'm going to be big on this year because if the one thing that gets cold is always my hands. Yeah. And we were just talking about before we started recording that we're going to go as deep into the season as we can go until there is snow on the ground. We're playing golf.
Doing it, man.
We are playing golf. All right, enough of that. Let's get into our conversation with Matt Cardis. Let's bring him on the show right now. All right, guys. So we're really, really happy to have Matt Cardis on the show right now. Like I said, most of you guys, we talked about this a little bit in the intro. You guys might know him as Golf in Your State on Instagram if you've been following him. Matt, welcome to the show. It's just really great to get a chance to finally connect on the show. We've chatted in so many different capacities before, but to finally get you on the podcast, I'm really, really happy we get to do this.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you and I got to chatting a little bit, a couple, maybe it was a year or two ago at one of the PGA shows, and then I know Mike got to meet up with you a little bit, doing the cruise to Cabot and playing over at Ferry Point. So, like I said, we've interacted here and there, but like I said, we haven't had a chance to really just kind of sit down and dig in a little bit. So, for anybody of our audience who might be kind of new to you, can you give us a little bit of a background of where you got started, especially with the golf in your state endeavor, which I think, when did you kick that off? It was like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I just hit my 3-year anniversary in October.
Cool. Congrats.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, a little background on myself. I'm a photographer based out of Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I'm a full-time traveler. First 2 years of Golf in Your State, I lived out of a Subaru Outback with a pop-up tent on top of it. Now I live out of a Mercedes Sprinter van.
Upgrade.
Yep.
Upgrade. Serious upgrade. But yeah, I'm a full-time traveler. I'm the founder of Golf in Your State. Basically, with Golf in Your State, what I do is I feature golf destinations. As a photographer, I photograph courses. I feature golf courses. I feature golf destinations. I also work with brands creating imagery assets. I'm an ambassador for several different brands: Electric Sunglasses, Callaway Golf, Ogio, Cut Golf, Aldilla, and am I forgetting somebody?
Were you doing some work with Adidas recently?
Oh yeah, Adidas. I forgot Adidas.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, Adidas came on board for the Golf Wall project. Yes, love being with them. I actually was just in Southern California a couple weeks ago doing a shoot for them. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Golf in Your State, I've been doing it a little over 3 years now. Coolest thing to me is, like, when I started all this, I knew nobody in the golf industry. I didn't know a single soul in golf. And, everything that I've created has just been based off of my travels and connecting with people along the way. And, it's pretty humbling to kind of see where I'm at today with, not only the people I've met and kind of the relationships I've made, but, the brand partners that I have today and so forth. So,
it's funny. We share a similar story in the fact that, like, Mike and I came into this, not being in the industry, and it is really amazing. And it's amazed me how many great people, and I mean, I'm not even just saying that as lip service. It's true. It's truly amazing how many great people are in this industry. And like I said, we run into each other at the PGA show and places like that. But I think you'd agree with me, right? Like, I mean, it's some great, just really, really good people.
From the interaction I've had with you guys, like, you seem like you're people persons as well, like, relationships are important. And when you're willing to kind of put yourself out there, like, that's really when I say often, like, good people find good people.
Yeah.
And golf, there is so many great people that work in the golf industry. And, it's really cool to just kind of, get to spend time with it. A lot of people talk about, like, spending 4 hours on a golf course with somebody and building a relationship. And I mean, it's totally true. I mean, from, Joe Smith, the random guy that I get paired with at the golf course, to, somebody that's been following me on Instagram for 2 years that I've never met, it's really neat to kind of build these relationships and see where they go. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I totally agree with that.
And I would imagine that's only expanding as you get into the golf wall project. And I want to talk about that in a minute, but just going back to a little bit more to the start. One question I always had for you is photography or golf. Which one of those came first for you?
It was definitely golf. I mean, I started golfing when I was like 5 years old through my father.
Mm-hmm.
My father is an avid golfer, loves to play, always has. And he started me at a really early age. I started shooting photos in my teens. I was like 15, 16 when I started shooting photos. As I progressed, so basically I'm from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. That's where I live now. I've been there 14 years. I chose out of college to really live in Jackson for the lifestyle, getting to do the things I love to do every single day. I'm an avid outdoorsman. I mountain bike, I fly fish, I snowboard, I hike, I camp, I do it all. And, I chose to live there kind of to do the things I love to do every single day. And, as I progressed in my professional career, I started working out of a cubicle, and I just realized it wasn't for me. And I wanted to do something that I was passionate about. And, here I am with Golf in Your State 3 years later.
And I tell you what, you could have picked a worse place to live than Jackson Hole. I mean, I haven't been there, but God, I've heard it's just gorgeous. And everybody who goes out there says it's like a different universe. It's so beautiful out that way.
If you love the outdoors, there's no better place to be. I mean, with the proximity to, it's 60 miles south of Yellowstone National Park, 2 miles south of Grand Teton National Park. It's got the Teton Mountain Range, one of the most beautiful mountain ranges, in my opinion, in the country. So very, very scenic. The community there is very outdoor oriented. I mean, most people move there for the ski hill. And then, a lot of people like myself, they call them 90-day wonders because they move out there for a ski season and then end up spending their entire lives out there. And I'm one of them. Here I am 14 years later. I still don't consider myself a local. We're all transplants. There's not many people in Jackson that, it's funny because the local community that actually grew up and going to high school there, they all want to get out as soon as they graduate high school. And then everybody that moves there,
they want to get in,
transplants that want to move for the lifestyle, and it's a very interesting community when you look at it that way, for sure.
Hey, Matt, before we dive into the golf wall project, I got to ask you, I want to talk about van life for a second. Any stories that you can give us from anything on the road that's happened to you, weather-wise, something? What do you got for us? Because 100,000 miles put in over 3 years, some good stories have to come out of the road.
At least. I've had the van since January, and I've put I just hit 20,000 miles on the van. So, wow. That's really, a testament to how much I actually travel in this thing. Life on the road, a lot of people see my life as glamorous, but it's far from it. Van life and living on the road, it's definitely, I see luxury in the simplicity of it and kind of the beauty of being able to go where I want and the freedom and everything else. But, living out of a car or a van, there's things that happen all the time. And I show it a lot on my Instagram feed. When things go bad, you got to just remain positive and, find the humor in whatever it is that's happening. And I'm a solution guy. So when something bad happens on the road, I'm quick to jump to action to find the solution to make things to get me back moving again. Right. Because, a lot of times I'm on deadline to get somewhere. A great example is when I was just driving to Colorado, I made a detour. I was in this very mountainous community in Colorado. Like I said, my brand partners I'm creating imagery for, and one of my brands had specifically requested some mountain images for some product. And I knew that I was in this zone that was perfect for it. So I started going up this really steep mountain hillside. First time I had ever taken the van on a road like that. And, the van was fine. I got all the way to the top, kind of where I wanted to be to shoot the image. I started unpacking the car, getting my stuff ready to actually shoot the images that I wanted. I get out of the car and I hear it. And I was like, oh man, I got a flat tire. So I start looking around. I realized that I had a flat tire, and I was like, I just drove 4 miles up this really steep mountain incline with lots of loose rocks. If I don't get moving right now, I'm not going to make it down this thing. There's no way that I can change the tire on this road up here. It's either get down now or I'm really screwed. So I rush all the way to the bottom. I get to the bottom. I was like, all right, I made it out. And then I started looking and I was like, all right, I'm still 15 miles away from anywhere that would have any type of tire shop. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's get back on the highway. We'll just ride it out, see if we can't get there. And again, the tire could have went flat at any point in this, and, I would have had to change it and whatever. But, for me, it was okay, I found the solution real quick. I realized what the problem was, found the solution, started moving, and, everything worked out just fine. But if I wasn't the type of person that I was, I am, I might have panicked and froze froze at the top of that mountain and been really up the creek without a paddle, so to speak.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So then you were talking about a little bit about your schedule. So how structured is it? Do you have a lot of places you have to be, or do you get to kind of from a golf standpoint, do you get to kind of every once in a while like drive by a course and see and be like, I got to play it, and just like create your own schedule, just pull over and play it? Or what does that golf look like on a day-to-day basis?
That was really year one of Golf in Your State. When I was first building this whole thing, I was just traveling at my own will, doing what I wanted on my own dime, where I could stop wherever, play. There wasn't a real schedule. I mean, I got to just kind of travel at will and do what I wanted. Now, obviously, with the Golf Wall project, it's a little bit different. So, I mean, there is a lot more of a schedule these days. And especially with like events and, I just mentioned the Adidas shoot in California.
Yep.
I needed to book my flight for it. So I had to have like a firm location that I was going to be by X date. And I was like, all right, well, let's book it for here so that it gives me a firm deadline that I need to be in the Midwest by this date. It'll give me, it was appropriate timing for the Northeast. It was appropriate timing to finish up the West Coast. I mean, my schedule has become, I have stuff scheduled right now through parts of 2020, so it's definitely become a lot more structured as it's formally grown, which is great. I actually prefer it to be that way. You'd be surprised how little I just get to go play golf. Pretty few and far between these days. I mean, really on this most recent trip, it's been kind of like setting aside days along my route to really shoot product imagery. With how busy I've been, like I'm on deadline for product images that, like I don't, during my events and stuff like that, I don't really have time to shoot product. So basically what I'm doing is setting aside specific rounds at specific places around the country that, I love and, I would call them popular golf courses.
Yeah.
Gamble Sands in Washington was one of them. The Prairie Club in Nebraska was another, so I've kind of set aside some specific rounds that I'm using as an opportunity for me to shoot product. But at the same time, it's also kind of when I can go out and play golf by myself. Like I'm not inviting people to participate in these. It's more designed for me to, capture the content that I need to fulfill my obligations.
Yeah. Look, you're preaching to the choir. We know what it's like. I mean, people tell us too, you guys must play so much golf, and you'd be like, you'd be surprised. There's so many commitments, whether it be collaborations or videos that we're doing or something like that. And it just, a lot of times it can get a little bit like rat race feeling. So it's nice every once in a while to slow down and play one of those courses you want to play or whatever it may be.
I try to make it so when I do these course features, I try to make it like I'm just playing golf. Like it's not like I don't try and make it so commercial that they're like, oh, that was a paid thing. Like for me, I want people to, look at this as, I'm just doing my thing on a golf course.
Right.
Ultimately, when it comes down to me shooting a course, like that's what it is. It's me just out having a good time and, shooting a golf course the way I think it should be shot.
Well, that's just it. It's super authentic because you are a person who you're doing two of your passions. So it's going to shine through. It's not like we're just taking a talented photographer and sticking them out on a golf course. Here's somebody who loves the game and loves photography. So that's the type of thing that's going to show through. I've always been a firm believer in that. If you're out there, even if it's quote unquote work or a job, if you're out there doing what you love, people are going to see it in the final product.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. So the other thing, let's talk real quick about, the Golf Wall project, because one thing that I've mentioned so many times is, and I talked about this a little bit with Mike at the top of the show, one huge thing for me and one huge reason why I love the game of golf is because of how much the game allows us to give back. I heard a statistic somewhere that golf was the most charitable sport dollar for dollar, because not only at the highest level, the PGA Tour, and you see a lot of the charity work that's done there, but even just down to your local towns and charities and things like that are hosting these charity golf tournaments. They happen all the time. They raise millions and millions of dollars every year. But even, like I said, some of this grassroots stuff, like we're seeing you do. And I think it's really cool when you see people who are passionate about the game, giving back to the game, having a little bit of a charitable piece to it. So without putting words in your mouth here, and I'll let you explain it. Tell us a little bit about the Golf Wall Project, how it came to be and what it is.
I think you nailed it on the head with grassroots. I mean, a lot of people talk about growing the game, and that saying's become kind of cliche, I think.
Yeah,
and
right.
For me, I wanted to put action behind the words. So, for me, instead of basically the overall concept behind the Golf Wall Project is I want to bring golfers together in the communities that I visit to perform community service or some type of golf-oriented give-back initiatives. So whether that's helping a municipal golf course or, feeding homeless people, doing a beach cleanup. I mean, there's so many different things that we're doing kind of along the route of the Golf Wall Project. But the underlying theme is let's get together as golfers, do something really cool in your community, and hopefully non-golfers will see us and be like, what are these golfers doing? I mean, that's ultimately my goal, is kind of a perception shift on what the golf community is today and kind of the culture of American golf. I mean, there's a lot of people like myself out there that, see it as more than just a game. It's, for me, it's become obviously a lifestyle. And with my love of kind of the snow and surf lifestyles, I wanted to bring that to golf. And, it was one of those things that I wanted to really just do something cool that everyone can participate in. And, it's been really humbling to see so many people kind of support this vision of mine. And I'm on kind of like a 6-month soft launch of it, is what I'm calling it, through 2019. But the plan is for it to go all the way through 2020. So if I've been through your area, definitely still an opportunity to participate in 2020. I'm dedicating about 50% of this year really scouting locations for 2020 and coming up with some bigger kind of, really, really cool things in specific communities. But with the 2019 activations, what I'm basically doing is trying to get some people together to kind of prove the concept, show what we actually can do. And, it's been a hit so far. So it's something I'm definitely proud of and very excited about. And, yeah,
that's really cool. Do you find you get a lot of the, for as far as opportunities and things to do, you get a lot of feedback from your following? Like we see sometimes where people will DM us and say, you guys got to try this spot or that spot. Do you find that some of your inspiration comes directly from the people who are following along?
Well, so there's a section on the website for the Golf Wall Project where people can submit different give back initiative ideas, whether it's a course or community service. And really what I'm trying to do is kind of tie these initiatives into the local community. So that is a very important part of this. If somebody tells me there's this specific environmental or social issue in a specific place that they live, like that's definitely in consideration. I'm looking at all of these with kind of a fine-tooth comb and, trying to really come up with something, because I'm using it as, not only kind of this, let's showcase golf as a cool thing these days. I'm using it as kind of an educational and awareness initiative as well on different environmental and social issues. And most of it's stuff that's important to me, but if people have specific ideas, they can submit them on the website. I am looking at all of them and reading through all of them. So they are definitely in consideration. I think what you're talking about more is probably like, oh, you're coming through Long Island, you should play this golf course. And I get those all the time.
Right. I would imagine, you get that quite often.
Everyone is so opinionated when it comes to golf courses. My golf course is the best. And, it's great. I mean, I love that about it. And I'm looking at all those too. When people send me recommendations via Instagram for, a specific course, I'm definitely Google searching them and looking at, who designed it, what year was it built? Is there some architectural significance? What's the tie into the history? And, there's a lot of things that go into, I'm not a list checker. I'm not trying to play the top 100. It's
right.
the least of what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to find stuff that is super cool. And, like I really respect the guys at Sugarloaf Social Club, the Hidden Gem project that they put together. Like I look at that list often because they've put a lot of time and effort into researching those courses. And, once you find somebody that you value, their recommendations, it becomes a lot easier to trust that person, right? Like, as much as I love kind of the larger publications, we all know those top 100 lists. They're skewed. They're skewed in one way, shape, or form. But when you look at someone like Sugarloaf, they're putting out this list of courses that they love for specific reasons. And I've developed a trust with those guys that I know that if there's something on that list, it's going to be something that I'm going to enjoy. So, I do take everyone's recommendations with, significant consideration. And I do my own research on them before I actually go see them.
Yeah.
But does that answer your question?
No, it definitely does. And look, I see a very similar trend too. And I like that the trend is going that way. If people are wanting to discover more of the hidden gems, we get people asking us too. It becomes very regionalized. They know we're in the New York area. So people will contact us and be like, get together a list of New York hidden gems for us and things like that, which I like seeing. I like seeing that there's that interest in people digging a little bit deeper into the game than just playing, as you said, the top 100s or whatever it may be. So that's exciting for me too. But I love hearing that. I love hearing that is something that it's a fresh take, that idea of truly putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak, and bringing people into the game with a fresh idea. And I like that idea of where people can get a little bit of a light into what it is to be a golfer by seeing golfers out there doing great things. I mean, it circles back around to what we started talking about earlier, where we were saying the industry and how we found to be such great people in the industry. And it's because, some of them, I find more and more great people as I play golf with, others. It just seems like it's around that. So I love that idea, and I commend you on taking that approach.
Yeah, I definitely get a lot of people reaching out to me as well, too. Like I travel so much that people are valuing my opinion, on courses. And, like I'm going to Michigan. What are the 5 courses that you would recommend that I play there? And I'm fortunate that I've played pretty much in every state at this point that, when I get these questions, I can respond with, valid information that, I'm comfortable and I'll stand behind the courses that I'm recommending, and I'm always very honest. If I haven't played anything great somewhere, I'll tell them flat out. But, for the most part, you hit me up and ask me about playing anywhere, I can tell you of at least a few great golf courses in almost every state. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool is right. So, all right, listen, we don't want to keep that van in one place for too long, so we're going to let you go in a second. But before we do, anybody who does want to find out more about Golf Wall Project, who wants to get involved, is the best place the website, or should they follow along on Instagram? What's the best way to do it?
The best way to find out information on registration is on the website. I mean, that's where the different photo experiences and travel experiences and the opportunity to volunteer as part of the Golf Wall Project is. If you want to see any of the information on initiatives I've already performed, Instagram is the place where all of that lives. So kind of a combination of both. If you're interested in participating, though, the website is definitely the place to go. It's golfinyourstate.com.
For sure. And hopefully we'll get a chance to get out there and play with you at some point or participate in one of the events. So make sure you keep us posted. Otherwise, are you going to be down to Orlando again this year?
I will most definitely be back at the PGA show again this year. I'm hoping that the van might be inside the convention center this year.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, we're working on a couple things. We'll see if it actually pans out. Nothing's confirmed as of yet, but at the very least, I will be down there with the van. I'm planning on kind of wrapping this first 6 month soft launch down at the PGA show. So at the very least, I'm going to be having some type of event there. So yeah, I will most definitely be back in Orlando again.
That's terrific. So we will for sure catch up with you there, if not earlier. But like I said, I appreciate you taking the time out of your super busy travel schedule to fill us in, because like I said, I've been, and Mike as well, we've been following along with some of the stuff that you've been doing, on Instagram for quite some time, but the golf wall project really, kind of piqued my interest, and I wanted to dig in a little bit deeper and find out more. And I think, that's exactly what we've done here. So I appreciate it. And I'm sure that our listeners will appreciate that, the way that you're giving back to the game and actually, like I said, putting your money where your mouth is and truly growing the game with that real grassroots approach. So appreciate everything you're doing and appreciate taking time to talk to us.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate you. And yeah, like you said, I hope that somewhere down the line we can meet up and actually show you what the Golf Wall Project's all about. So,
100%. Very much looking forward to that. All right, Matt, it was great chatting with you.
You as well, guys.
Talk to you later.
Take care.
All right, so great to get Matt on the show. Like I said, we've had our own conversations with him here and there a couple times. Always known him to be like a really cool, very down to earth, and very, very honest guy. You can see it's very transparent. You can see how much he loves the game and what he's doing. And for me, like as a person who, same type of thing. I love the game. Mike, yourself, we connect with that when we see see people out there doing that. And like I said, when I see an initiative like this, where here's a guy, he's not trying to make, $1 million off the idea. He's living in his van,
Right.
He's a guy you could see, he's not in it for the money. He's in it because he truly loves the game. He's got a passion for it. He's got a passion for what he does from a photography standpoint. And he's out there, like you said, instead of just saying the cliche of grow the game, he's actually doing it by going out there and showing what golfers can do and what they can accomplish when they work together, and making golf courses and things like that better. And as he said, recommending golf courses and places to play, and just kind of uncovering gems and whatever he can do. So as I said, it's always been a very interesting story to me. So it's nice to finally get a chance to get him on the podcast to hear it firsthand, of what his vision is for it. You know what I mean, Mike?
Yeah, for sure. I always love catching up with Matt. Like I said, it's, we chat with him a couple times, and in this industry, we get to see these people that we meet, but then life gets in the way and we go back to our home state and we just lose touch for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And then maybe we run into again in another golf event somewhere down the road where we end up traveling to or something. It's kind of like YouTube Golf Day, Frank. We saw people at January at the show. Mm-hmm. Then in May, we saw him in England again. And then maybe we see him again another time. But, that's just the nature of it. But a great guy that we've met over the years, and I'm very happy to see him continuing on, starting in the Subaru or whatever he said, and then the upgrade and like getting partners, working with someone like Adidas. I love the story. It rings true, and it's good stuff. Yeah,
sleeping in a rooftop camper on his Subaru.
That's something you'll never find me doing, by the way. I am not an outdoor guy. I'll tell you that right now. I'm driving that thing to every hotel and like begging people to let me stay there.
Look, like he said, it is a commitment. I mean, the van he's in now is beautiful, but at the end of the day, he's it's living in a van. Like you said, it comes with its challenges. But I tell you what, there is something to be said for getting to cruise the country and just play the golf courses, just everywhere, and stop and get around in here and there. But look, see it firsthand. If you guys aren't already following him, go to at Golf in Your State on Instagram and just take a quick look through this profile, and you'll see it's amazing. Some of the places that Matt has been and played, and his, like I said, from a photography standpoint, his stuff is just, it's great. It's inspiring. So check all that out. You can get to the show notes by going to Golficity or as always, go to the Golficity app, and we'll have all the show notes. We'll have some links to, some of Matt's stuff. So you can get to it directly from there. Otherwise, you can also go to golfinyourstate.com, as Matt had said. And that's where there's a little bit more information on how you guys can participate if you're looking to participate, or just follow along with his journey. And like I said, it is a rewarding thing to see him doing. So make sure you guys check that out. We're going to hop back with you guys again next week. Again, we're going to keep playing as long as we can, Mike, and before this season wraps up. So we're going to keep grinding, and then in not too long, I mean, we're already talking about November around the corner. We're talking about the PGA show. It's in 2 months. Can you believe that?
Is it really?
We'll be in Orlando basically in 2 months.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's nuts.
I mean, we're talking like it's a ways away. It is not. So stay tuned for that. And like I said, maybe we'll catch up with Matt while we're there. And if so, you'll see it for sure on our social channels. All right, guys, that's everything we have. We'll talk to everybody again next week.